Hi, everyone. Matt Clark, research analyst for Money and Markets here with the weekly marijuana market update. Now, I do want to make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and get notified each and every time we post a new video. I've got a lot of great video features, including Ask Adam Anything, Investing with Charles, and our Bull and the Bear podcast. All these series are on our YouTube channel. Plus, we're looking to add some new weekly series possibly in the near future, maybe even looking at emerging sectors like biotech or artificial intelligence. But make sure you check back often and find out what we have in store. Also, don't forget about moneymarkets.com. That is our flagship. You can go to moneymarkets.com and see safe, sound, smart, simple, profitable investment information from myself, from Adam O'Dell, from Charles Sizemore, and a wealth of other people that are looking to help you build your portfolio. Now, today, I'm going to unveil my big prediction for the cannabis market in 2022. And I'm going to answer a reader question about a stock we've actually had on our cannabis watch list. Now, first, as I do when I make these kind of predictions, I want to preface you by telling you that no one, and I do mean no one, has a crystal ball and can actually predict the future. It's just not possible, and especially in the stock market. We've experienced the longest bull market run in recent history, and when you look at outside factors, it tells us that we shouldn't have ended that a long time ago. As for the cannabis market, we've seen a combination of strong tailwinds followed by just as strong headwinds over the course of this year. And so it makes the prospect of predicting some kind of outcome to happen in the near future really difficult. The headwinds have included such things as increased talk of federal legalization of cannabis in the US, more and more states legalizing adult use cannabis, and increased revenue for MSOs along with smaller cannabis companies. But the tailwinds have been just the opposite, which is like tamped down talk of federal legalization of cannabis and stalled banking reform for the cannabis industry in Congress. All these factors have led to a bouncing of the cannabis market. Now, if we look at the Money in Markets Cannabis Index, which equal weights all cannabis companies with a market cap above $10 million, we see volatility in the broader market. Now, in February, the index rose about above 260 as talk of federal legalization reached a fever pitch. As those discussions in Congress started to wane, so did the stock price of cannabis stocks. Now, the cannabis index is only 39 points off its starting point at the beginning of the year. Now, a bold prediction would be that I would expect adult use cannabis to be legalized in the US in 2022. But I just don't see that happening. I know not necessarily the news everyone wanted, certainly not me or any other cannabis investors, but I just don't see it happening. There's just too many issues with Congress right now, ranging from battling over social justice measures to midterm elections coming up. I just think that it's not a realistic possibility because members of Congress are going to be battling for their jobs. Cannabis isn't one of those things they can go back to their home state and hang their hat on and face certain re-election. However, one big prediction I will make up for next year is related to sales. I project that cannabis sales in the U.S. will top $30 billion. I almost said 300. That's not right. Will top $30 billion next year, setting an all-time record and blowing past current projections. Now, initial projections made by Brightfield Group suggest that the legal recreational cannabis sales would reach around $21 billion this year and $23 billion in 2022. However, those projections were made earlier in the year. The U.S. could expect to see legal cannabis sales of more than $24 billion in actuality this year and reach $47 billion by 2026. But I think the growth trajectory of cannabis sales is much higher, and that will add another $6 billion in sales next year to reach $30 billion in total legal cannabis sales in the U.S. One reason is because the wave of cannabis sales have been riding on since the COVID-19 pandemic. Analysts expected that wave to come crashing down in 2021, but it really didn't. In 2021, we could see sales jump by as much as $6.9 billion over last year. That's a 48% jump and the highest dollar increase in U.S. history. States like Colorado, Oregon, Washington, they're all expecting an average of 26% year-over-year sales growth, while other states like Illinois, Massachusetts, and Michigan are averaging 136% growth, according to an August report from Marijuana Business Daily. So I see no reason why this trend can't continue. New markets in Connecticut, Montana, New Mexico, New York, and Virginia could come online sometime in 2022, although the potential timeline for states like New York is a little sketchy. It could open up one of the largest populations to legal cannabis. And additionally, I think the big driver of sales growth is going to be cannabis flower. Now, Brightfield projected flower sales to jump from $5.7 billion in 2020 to $7.2 billion this year. However, I expect that total is going to be closer to $8 to $9 billion when the dust settles in 2021. In 2022, initial projections were for flower sales of $9.7 billion, but I can realistically see that being more like $11 or $12 billion. And that gives cannabis flower more than 45% of the total market sales of cannabis products. Now, while that may not be necessarily the news that you want to hear, it is good for cannabis investors. Until banking reform becomes law of the land, operators need to see robust increases in sales to level up their balance sheets. Plus, more capital does allow for these operators to invest more in operations and even look into M&A activity or mergers and acquisitions activity, which has already been very strong in the cannabis market in 2021. So my bold prediction for 2022 is that legal cannabis sales are going to top the $30 billion mark in the US. Now, on to a reader question. William emailed me at feedback@moneyandmarkets.com, and he asks, I have an investment in Planet 13, which trades over the counter under the ticker PLNHF. Could you please give your input on this company? Do you see it going up in price? Do you see it profitable in the future? Thanks, William. Well, thank you for your question, William, and for submitting and us using your question. My team is going to reach out to you and set you up with some cool money and markets gear, maybe like this shirt here that I have on. Now, as for Planet 13, those of you who have followed our updates know that I had Planet 13 on our cannabis watch list earlier this year. I really like this company. Its Las Vegas superstore is massive and recovered nicely from the COVID-19 pandemic that shut down travel and tourism in the city. It did also recently open a similar superstore in California, right near Disneyland, with similar expectations of attracting those tourism dollars into the superstore. However, its stock price has been hammered since we sold the stock during the summer. As you can see, the stock went from a high of around $8 per share down to $3 per share, roughly a 62.5% drop in share price. Financially, it's going to take some time for the company to fully realize its investment in its California operation. It's also going to take some time before it starts to see the benefits of its Florida cannabis license acquisition it made in September. Basically, it bought a medical cannabis license to sell medical cannabis in Florida from Harvest. Harvest doesn't necessarily include any operations. It just bought the license. All in all, I still really like Planet 13. I think it's got a strong operations and a good expansion plan in place. In terms of its price going up, yes, I think it will. The biggest question is when. And honestly, I don't think it'll bounce up until sometime in 2022. Its profitability could take even more time, as it did spend a lot of money on its expansion in California, and the license purchase, I think it was around $55 million in one of the most robust markets in the country, which is Florida. So, William, to answer both of your latter questions, yes, it's just going to be a matter of time. I hope that does answer your questions completely. And for sending one, like I said, we're going to hook you up with some money markets gear as our way of saying thank you for watching and for submitting a question. If you do have a question about a cannabis stock or the broader market in general, email me. That email address is feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. We're going to flash that email address right down there. You can also comment below or here on YouTube. And love to see what you have to say. Send us a question or a video of you asking a question or testimonial, and we use it. We're going to send you some free money markets gear like a t-shirt, hats, sweatshirts, whatever we might have. We will try to get you hooked up with that. Don't forget about all the great content we have here on our YouTube channel. It is the best investment insight for you, and it is yours for free. Also, follow me on Twitter. I give you even more insights, not just on the broader cannabis market, but on the market in general. You can find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @InvestWithMattC. That's InvestWithMattC on Twitter. Thank you, everyone, for all of you who watch our videos each and every week. We enjoy doing these videos because we want to bring you the best insights into not just cannabis, but to overall investing. Adam, Charles, and I, and our entire team, we work very hard to make sure we're providing you this information. We do it all for free because we want to help you bolster your portfolio. Also, be remiss if I didn't tell you to check out the mothership. That is moneyandmarkets.com. Every single day, we're posting new content that provides safe, sound, smart, simple, profitable investment information for you. Sign up for that free daily e-letter. Get all that information sent to your inbox for free each and every day. I'm Matt Clark, research analyst for Money and Markets, and the host of the Marijuana Market Update. Until next time, everyone, safe trading.